Hashtag AITAH for not wanting to apologize to my best friend's maid of honor. Advice needed. Hello everyone. I've never done this before, but I'm posting this hoping for some objective feedback and perspective. Because of my upbringing, I really struggle with knowing if my perception is accurate or not, so I would appreciate your thoughts on the matter. I am a 25Y, female named Jordan. My best friend is of 4 years, Julie, also 25Y, is getting married soon and originally chose me as her maid of honor. Now for context, Julie is easily one of the best people I know and has helped and been there for me through a lot. From surviving a cultish college ministry to helping me to move away from my emotionally abusive family, with whom I have a complicated relationship. She has been my best friend after Jesus. After finding out she got engaged in October, I was so excited for her and really wanted to be a good maid of honor, but 1, I didn't know what a maid of honor does, and neither did she, and 2, I have been going through a lot. From losing my job, to being virtually held hostage in a group chat for 2.5 months, to studying for my exams. I would also like to mention I am full-time student completing my second master's degree in biomedical science. To finding a new job and struggling with anxiety and depression, I became burnt out and wasn't able to give Julie's wedding a lot of attention. Even so, I tried to help wherever I could. I attended every dress fitting. Though I admit I was dirt-tried and almost fell asleep at one, I went to both her bridal showers, and I helped as much as I could with planning her bachelorette trip with her other friend June. Now here's where the story really starts. June is also one of Julie's really close friends. They met on a trip overseas 2 years ago and became good friends. Although they met on a trip, June is from and lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Because Julie wanted to visit Pittsburgh for her bachelorette trip, and because June is a wedding planner on the side, she took the lead in planning and preparing. Because I have never been to Pittsburgh before and didn't have a lot of time to research the area, I helped where I could, but, for the most part, wasn't very helpful. I apologized to June several times and she assured me that because she was from the area it made the most sense for her to take lead because she knew the best spots. I should mention that I had never met June in person and did all of this over the phone. Fast forward to mid-April, I go on the bachelorette trip with her and 4 other bridesmaids and bridesmen. She has another male best friend named Alan, 23Y. Julie, Alan, and I fly in from Georgia and meet June a few minutes away from her job to have lunch together. From the moment she met me in person, she was dismissive toward me. At first I thought I was overthinking things, and made several more attempts to talk with and get to know her, but as time went on it got worse. Whenever I tried to talk with her and bring up new topics to discuss, she would position her face and body away from me and only talk towards Julie. Whenever I would speak, she would cut me off. When I tried to tell some really funny stories, particularly the one where I got held hostage in group chat for 2.5 months, which sounds bad but in hindsight is hilarious, she would interject and put me down, saying, "Why didn't I file a police report?" and that I was getting scammed. She did this on several occasions in front of the entire group, including Julie, almost to make me seem stupid. Add this with the fact I was the only black person in the group, I couldn't help but feel embarrassed and isolated. She even made a point of interrupting me whenever I tried to talk, bond with Julie's other 2 friends, Mia and Kiara, 23 and 24Y, females, respectively. Not only that, but she had made several, what I consider rude remarks behind Alan and Julie's backs. Complaining with how Alan's slow walking, due to an unknown and untreated leg injury, would prevent us from getting to our restaurant destination on time. The following day she then complained to Mia and Kiara about how she didn't really want to go bar hopping or stay out at night, despite it being her plan that she introduced, but that she would do it because she loved Julie. Keep in mind, Julie wasn't really interested in bar hopping either, but was mostly doing it because it was recommended to her. Additionally, because it turned out there was one less bed in the Airbnb we were all sharing, being maid of honor, I volunteered to sleep on the couch the entire trip, so no one else had to be uncomfortable. As such, I wouldn't be able to sleep or go anywhere to relax when I was tired and had to put up with everyone else staying up late to 1 to 2 in the morning. I should also mention that I had a midterm exam I needed to study for, retake, which I wasn't able to. Between this and everything else, I was even more burnt out and aggravated, but I didn't say anything and put up with all of this because I didn't want to ruin Julie's trip. Even so, I was counting the days until I came back home. After getting back, nothing initially happened, but I was angry. I didn't want to say anything to Julie about until after her wedding in June. I was so hurt and upset about the experience I actually chose to visit my immediate family to get some laundry done. When I texted Julie about visiting them for weekend to do laundry and get groceries, which they paid for, she initially said okay. However, about an hour or two later she texted me and reminded me that we're both supposed to go to a tea party hosted by her future mother-in-law's church. Since I had completely forgotten and admittedly didn't want to see her, I told her I wouldn't be able to make it. Now, no matter what anyone has to, I don't regret that decision, even now. I actually enjoyed my time visiting my family and felt a lot better because of it. I got to see my cousins, swim in my aunt's pool, and went to the movies, and spend some time with my grandmother. By the time I went back home I felt a lot better. Fast forward to yesterday, Julie comes over to speak with me and give me some stuff. First she gives me a few gifts from the tea party, which includes a bracelet, and also drops off 3 bottles of syrup and 3 bottles of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. We talk about how we both are doing and then we get down to business. She asks if I knew what it was about, and I accurately tell her it's because she no longer wants me to be maid of honor and is giving the position to June. She then says she thinks she overburdened me, and that she needs someone who will be able to make her wedding a priority. Which I completely agree with. Honestly, I wasn't really sad about this and felt relief more than anything. I knew I wasn't able to be the best maid of honor and, despite how cruel she was to me, I genuinely believe June will make a great maid of honor. She's very intentional with her planning and I noticed how excited she and Julie were when talking about the wedding during the trip. I think that is the right decision. However, here is when things get complicated. We start to talk about the trip and I mention how me and June do not really like each other. She admits she knows this. She states it's because she was furious with me during the trip because I wasn't taking initiative and acting like a maid of honor, which apparently also frustrated June, who felt she did all the work. She then admits that she had been telling June about all her frustrations with me throughout the trip, as they stayed in the same room together, and even admitted to breaking down because of me, which apparently worsened June's already growing disdain for me. I should mention she has admitted to this before, where she would complain about me to June behind my back and even apologized to me for it. Although I didn't say anything to this, and apologized to her about my lack of initiative and inability to properly socialize, I can't help but feel hurt and put down, because it feels like she essentially validated June's actions towards me. Though she claims she didn't notice any of June's slights, and even offered talk about it with her, I still feel invalidated. When I brought up that because of the situation, I didn't feel comfortable staying at her grandfather's house with everyone, including June, before the wedding as initially planned, she expressed her irritation toward me for not being there for her. She then said this all feels very high school, which I agree, and that she wants both June and I to be cordial to each other. When I told her that June hadn't even apologized for what she did, she countered and asked me if I had ever apologized to June. When I asked her for what, she stated for planning, leading the entire trip and for doing most of the socializing. Though we ended the conversation there, because she had to go back home, I couldn't help but still feel irritated about something. This brings me to today. After waking up and still being angry about the situation, I decided to reach out, get some non-biased opinions on the issue. AITAH for not wanting, feeling I need to apologize to June. In all honesty, I'm fine if neither of us apologize and just remain respectful for the wedding and Julie's sake. If so, I'm wrong for not wanting to stay over at her grandfather's place and risk a similar situation. Advice wanted #AITAH.